In this week, we are discussing about William Twining's globalization and legal theory. In this last video, we will look at Santos, who is an economist from Portugal, who according to William Twining is the first scholar who explained globalization and legal theory in the postmodern perspective. Santos primarily focuses his theory in globalization from the point of view of legal pluralism. As an economist and economist from the developing world, Santos takes a different approach and perspective in understanding and analyzing globalization and legal theory in the postmodern era. Santos says that globalization is a unilinear phenomenon. There are different forms of globalization. Globalization is not one aspect or one form or one phenomenon, it is a multiple levels it works, multiple levels its impacts are there. William Twining agrees with Santos that globalization is not a one form, it is a multiple forms, it is a unilinear. But Santos primarily looks at that globalization and legal theory happens and occurs at from global level to the national level to the subnational level. In the modern day context, the legal system will not exist in isolation. It is not just to understand the law, we should look at the municipal law or domestic law. You need to look at the worldwide perspective and also to look at pluralistic perspective of communities and peoples to have a holistic approach of the law in globalization. I think that is where we need to underscore the importance of Santos, where William Twining says he is the first scholar to explain this legal pluralism in the globalization. Santos classifies globalization into four aspects. The first one is globalized localism. What is globalized localism? Spread of local phenomenon all over the world. Here you can take several examples. You can look at spread of English all over the world, because English language has brought many of the people communities all over the world into one space. India has a large advantage in this regard because of not only a technology, but is a one which can speak and is a fluent English language is one of a special advantage of the Indian people, those who have been preferred all over the world. Similarly, we look at how spread of Coca-Cola all over the world. It is like a American phenomenon, a global north phenomenon is being transferred and almost all used and applied in several forms of the world. Similarly, how a McDonald has become a spread over all over the world. McDonaldization, Americanization and all these where Santos says is a globalized localism. Second form is where he says about localized globalism. He is again very right how local structures, local processes and methods are changing as a result of globalization. More importantly, we have seen how the new economic policies, structural adjustment policies have an impact all over the world, and also we could see the luxurious tourist hotels coming all over the world. We see the sprawling 5-star hotels all over the world, and how tourism, medical tourism, several forms of tourism as being followed, and we could see several of these phenomena in India also. So, second aspect is localized globalism. These two, the globalized globalism, Santos says it is a form of imposition of global north over global south that is in after effect of globalization. The third aspect which Santos says, or third form of globalization Santos says, is about cosmopolitanism. This cosmopolitanism is a phenomenon where the emancipatory potential of the local people, local communities, and they are networking, coming together to protect the interests of pluralism, interests of the people and communities. I think this is a very interesting explanation given by Santos, where William Twining is really skeptical. Here we could look at World Social Forum. Emergence of the World Social Forum is, I do not think it is not like a competitive or opposite to World Trade Forum, but when the World Trade Forum all over the world is articulating protection and promotion of trade regime, free market regime, you also need social communities all over the world. People should come together. That is what we could see the cosmopolitanism, what Santos mentioned, is in the form of World Social Forum. On the one hand, you have a World Trade Organization, and the other one may be very weak, may be rudimentary World Social Forum. And 1997, realizing that the globalization is inevitable, the United Nations under the leadership of former UN Commissioner of Human Rights Navneet Pillai has formed UN Global Compact. So, we could see when Santos mentions about this cosmopolitanism, the World Social Forum, Global Compact, and a network of the people and local communities coming together in the globalization to protect the interests of the communities. The last phase of globalization Santos mentions about is common heritage of mankind, particularly in the context of global warming, climate change, non-proliferation, particularly arms, trade and other nuclear proliferation. All these issues, the Santos says this is we need to keep in mind. We are only the what we call as all humankind has to benefit, all humankind, what we call as a common heritage of the humankind has to be protected. You are only trustee of these world heritage, and that should not be exploited, and that should be available for the future generation. That is where the concept of sustainable development, which is articulated by the United Nations and followed all over the world. So, when we look at Santos classifies the globalization into these 4 phases: globalized localism, localized globalism, counter what he calls the cosmopolitanism and common heritage of mankind. Santos says these are the counter hegemonic forces to the globalization. William Twining agrees most of the viewpoints of Santos. He is skeptical about cosmopolitanism influencing the world policies, where we could see Santos is a more what we call as a aspirational utopian where he is looking at, but he is looking at some counter hegemonic forces, otherwise WTO will rule all over the world. So, we could see that cosmopolitanism, where William Twining partly agrees and he is skeptical whether ever there will be a people's local communities coming together in the globalization when compared to the mighty powerful World Trade Organization. That William Twining is very skeptical. William Twining is also skeptical about his second counter hegemonic forces, where Santos speaks about common heritage of mankind. Otherwise, William Twining agrees with Santos' view of legal cosmopolitanism, legal pluralism particularly. So, the last part of very interesting about Santos is how he explains the legal pluralism, and to explain his concept of legal pluralism in a globalization, its impact on the legal theory, he studied 13 local dispute resolution mechanisms in Rio in the squatter communities. So, he wanted to demonstrate this point that there is not one dispute resolution. Of course, we have a formal dispute resolution mechanism, informal dispute resolution mechanism. When he studies these 13 local dispute resolution mechanisms in Rio, particularly in the squatter community, he says both are working together, they are existing together. We could parallel example, we could look at Nyaya Panchayat in India or Caste Panchayat in India. We have seen in the initial days the dispute were resolved at the village level. Of course, there are people have problems when a dominant caste tries to impose or settle a dispute. But once these form of a rudimentary form of a Nyayalaya, Gram Nyayalaya, when it started working, when we take care of removing the dominant caste or a dominant religion, then we can secularize, we can democratize these panchayats, where in India we have a Nyaya Panchayats and Gram Nyayalayas. In some states they are working very well. In fact, that is what is very important. We need to strengthen, democratize these dispute resolution mechanisms which are relevant. In fact, the Anglo-Saxon jurisprudence, when it has transplanted, completely has removed the local grassroots dispute resolution mechanism. Santo is very right when he studied these 13, and William Twining also agrees partly that the formal and informal dispute resolution mechanism has to work together, coexist together. However, William Twining says sometimes the local or informal dispute resolution mechanisms may be regressive, and what we have seen, the caste panchayat sometimes enforces their will over the community without taking into consideration interests of the both parties. Sometimes the informal dispute resolution mechanism may not be comprehensive, may not be self-contained, and most of the time they coexist with each other. The formal dispute resolution mechanism has to learn from the informal dispute resolution mechanism. And informal dispute resolution mechanism should be made more professional. Otherwise, the major issue, whether is in the pre-globalization or the post-globalization, is the arrears, pendency in the dispute resolution. Unless we invent a new mechanism, not just only to an arbitration, which is a emerging process in the context of the globalization. Some people say this is a private dispute resolution mechanism. This is used only by those who are in the companies and the corporation, and now you have in the globalization, in all the dispute resolution mechanism, there is a compulsory clause of use of arbitration. So, we need to think about not only an arbitration which is useful to the complex disputes of the companies and other, but other disputes also have to be taken care, and Santos may be right when he explains about this concept of informal dispute resolution coming together with the formal dispute resolution mechanism. On the whole, Santos has first time and maybe perhaps the first scholar to underscore the importance of the legal pluralism. Law is not one form. Law has to take care of pluralist interests of the communities, whether it is a global law, whether it is a national law, whether it is a subnational law, transnational law, all this will coexist together. But his counter-hegemonic forces is a very interesting viewpoint that may be possible, that may not be possible. Upendra Baxi, in some of his writings, he said about globalization is a world without alternatives, where Santos attempts to articulate some form of alternative, either what he says about counter-hegemonic forces, cosmopolitanism. With this, we have discussed about the William Twining's legal theory in the context of globalization. As we have discussed, William Twining is the first internationally renowned jurist who attempted to explain the legal theory in the context of the globalization.